All right, welcome. My name is Sergeant Alexander. Today we are going to be conducting a class on being a steward of the profession. Pre-lecture dues. So risk assessment is low. Watch out for cords and uncapped bottles. Avoid slips, trips, and falls, and make sure you stay hydrated. In case of an emergency, please follow the emergency action plan. Run, hide, and fight by the sworn statement, and if there's any other emergency, follow your unit's SOP and send up accountability to Sergeant Romero. Lesson scope. At the end of this 10-minute learning event, you will have a better understanding of what being a steward of the profession means, with a particular emphasis on the role of the NCO. Learning objective. Action. Justify the need to steward the soldiering profession. Condition. As a learner attending VLC using a direct level leadership perspective in a new environment, given references, practical exercises, and classroom discussions. Standard. The learner will convey understanding of their role in being a steward to their profession. So, this is going to be a video from the Center of Profession and Ethics in the Army. It's just kind of a little introduction to what we will be talking on today.
Being a steward of the Army profession comes down to three things. I need to take care of first. This is probably the least important one, but it's important. You need to take care of the stuff that the nation has provided you. Stewardship also means taking care of people. And really what it means is not only just take care of them, but developing the next generation to take your job from you and lead the Army into the future. And so an incredibly important aspect of stewardship is human development. And then the third thing I would say is really critical to maintaining the Army as a profession from a stewardship perspective is to maintain the essential characteristics of the profession.
All right. So that was just a quick introduction. We'll go next into a definition from the Army of what it means to be a steward of the profession. So this is directly from ADP 6-22, Section 6, Paragraph 74. So as defined by the Army, leaders take care of the Army profession by applying a mindset that embodies cooperative planning and management of all resources, but especially providing for a strong Army team both now and in the future. Leaders actively engage in sustaining full military readiness and preventing the loss of effectiveness as far into the future as possible. Leaders support developmental opportunities for subordinates such as professional military education attendance, key developmental assignments in other organizations, and attendance at Army schools. Leaders also make decisions and take actions to improve the organization beyond their tenure. So this is kind of a concise definition, but there's still a bit more behind it than meets the eye here, and I would like to go into that a little bit. First, by talking about how we as soldiers use the past as a template. And what I mean by that is to act as a steward or a profession, we draw upon the standard that was set long before our time in the military. Things such as customs and courtesies, expectation of military bearing, the Army values, creeds such as the Soldier's Creed and NCO Creed, they set the standard and exemplify what previous generations found was necessary to ensure the continued success of our organization. And we are the new generation. We're taking the baton on that. And we are now expected to uphold the standard that was set long before our time. But these are just some of the examples of the principles that have guided the Army as an institution. They help create a template for an organization that can persevere and rise up to the occasion of adversity that is expected of it. And when I say that, it's important to remember that very few organizations are expected to go to war, expected to lose members, and expected to continue and succeed at that mission. And it takes some unique qualities and a high standard to meet those expectations that the American people put on us and that we have taken as a volunteer. And using the past as a template, we're well set up right now, but we also want to set up for the future, set the next generation up to succeed just like we have been. So by acting today, we can secure our future. And by that, I mean, we may not know the enemy of tomorrow, but we can develop the leaders that can rise to that occasion. Part of the mission of Army leadership is finding and developing future leaders. At a sergeant's level, you're looking at your E4s and below, and you're trying to identify who is meeting and exceeding that standard, who has that drive, the personality, the character components that will make a good leader. And you can kind of develop them by creating opportunities for professional and personal development that can create those multidimensional leaders who are ready for the next fight, or at least have the tools to face that next fight. We are, as NCOs and as leaders in the Army, we're always training our replacements. We want to move up to the next level, but we also want to ensure that the person filling in our spot can take the baton from us and run with it, hopefully faster and more effectively because of the way we set them up. Our goal as leaders is to leave our organization in a more ready state than when we arrived. And part of that is making sure that the unit has the equipment it needs, but I think the more important focus is ensuring that the personnel are taken care of, that they're being developed. So, a quick check on learning. If I was doing this in a live audience, I wanted to ask these questions to kind of get the audience thinking a little bit more. So what can we do as NCOs to act as stewards of our profession? And I would kind of be looking for answers along the lines of ensuring that our subordinates, peers, and superiors alike are all meeting and exceeding the standard that was set by previous generations. So this next question, who in this room on Teams is the best example of a steward to the soldiering profession and why? And I was looking for the answer of you, Staff Sergeant. I was hoping somebody would identify you as being a steward to the profession. Your whole job is to identify and train and instill those values that are expected of future leaders. You are, as I've been saying this whole time, passing off the baton to the next generation and ensuring that we go off to our units prepared to meet that standard. And that's kind of what I was looking for. And then, what is our goal when we act as shepherds? And that's just to leave the organization in a more mission-ready state than when we arrived. So, for summary, we examined the Army doctrine definition of being a steward to the profession. We analyzed some ways in which the previous generations of soldiers have set us up for success, and we considered how we play a part in directing the future of our organization. Now, are there any questions? None? All right. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for attending. Have a great Army Day.